Yesterday, I ate something pickled and I was like, whoo.
Seeing that platinum blonde spiked hair means it's time for good food. But there are some things that this chef stays away from. Here are 10 foods Guy Fieri just couldn't eat. Ghost pepper.
Wreck-It Ralph here with the Ghost Pepper Challenge.
When it comes to spicy food, there are millions of people around the world who love the thrill of dishes that can leave you sweating and your mouth on fire. The combination of intense heat and delicious flavor is a combo that many find hard to resist. Some brave folks will even partake in eating some of the hottest peppers on the planet. And among the most intense is the ghost pepper. The extremely hot pepper comes in at 1 million Scoville heat units, making it one of the hottest edibles you can encounter. Guy has had his fair share of encounters with the ghost pepper, especially on season 14 of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. Fieri first sampled a Jamaican ghost pepper hot sauce that had the chef immediately eating a pineapple to help cool down his mouth. Later in the same season, Fieri would sink his teeth into a batch of hot wings dubbed 666 wings. The wings were tossed in sauce containing not only the ghost pepper, but also habanero and Scotch bonnet peppers.
That's crazy.
After sampling the volcanic wings, Fieri had to submerge his face in dressing before downing milk to cool off his mouth. While Fieri has shown a tolerance for spicy food in the past, the ghost pepper turned out to be too much for the famous chef to handle. Eggs.
A stinky poo-poo egg.
What came first, the chicken or the egg? Does it really matter? What matters is eggs are enjoyed throughout the world and are not only delicious, but easy to prepare. In most of the Western world, eggs are the cornerstone of a classic breakfast. High in protein and nutrients, eggs are not only considered a superfood, but they're about as versatile a food item you'll come across. From Eggs Benedict, Over Easy, Sunny Side Up, or the classic scrambled, eggs are not simply a breakfast staple, but are ideal for any meal. However, as delicious as many find this superfood, there are an equal number of people that are just fine without eggs in their life. People like Guy Fieri, for example. The famous foodie wasn't always anti-egg. There were two particular incidents that turned the spiky-haired food enthusiast against the humble egg. While Fieri is just fine with eggs as an ingredient in food, such as Caesar salad dressing, he was slightly traumatized when, as a child, he cracked open an egg and saw a whole chicken inside.
Ew, ew, ew.
As unsettling a sight that must have been, the experience wasn't enough to turn Fieri off eggs as a meal for good. It was consuming a chalky, hard-boiled egg that would finally see Fieri stop consuming eggs. The old saying that states, "eggs, they're not just for breakfast anymore," doesn't apply to Guy Fieri, as the famous foodie doesn't want eggs for any meal. Liver and onions.
Ogres are like onions.
Let's be honest, the mere mention of liver and onions doesn't exactly make most mouths water. While you'd be hard-pressed to find a healthier, more nutritious protein than an organ meat, liver is an acquired taste for those who choose to consume it. Many countries consider the dish a delicacy, with France and Latin America being among the top consumers. However, liver in America is not one of the top dishes on any restaurant menu. Guy Fieri is one such individual that would be fine if he never glanced at a piece of liver again. The famous restaurateur has made it clear that he considers the organ meat to be nasty and will never sample liver under any circumstances. Of course, Fieri is by no means alone in this department, as liver and other organ meats are, for the most part, not very popular in America.
We don't do that here.
However, with someone as open-minded about food as Fieri, one would think that the level of trepidation simply wouldn't be present. So, with that being said, it's safe to say that the iron-rich meat will never find itself on an episode of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives in the foreseeable future. Cow brains. Liver, kidneys, and even tongue are not out of the ordinary in kitchens in certain parts of the world. However, one particular ingredient that is both uncommon but revered in cooking in the Western world would undoubtedly be brain. The very organ found in every animal on the planet is not one of those organs that screams appetizing. Other than zombies in a George Romero movie, brains are never a common item on a menu. Yet there are countries that do consider the organ a delicacy, especially cow brains. Ever the adventurous eater, Guy Fieri once sampled cow brains with disastrous results. On an episode of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, the restaurateur almost vomited after sampling brains for the first time. To make matters worse, the organ was paired with eggs, a Guy Fieri no-no. Despite a valiant effort, Fieri was unable to finish the dish. While sampling the organ mixed with eggs, Fieri was also offered fried testicles.
Yes, ma'am. Sheep balls.
Not surprisingly, the famous foodie was not interested in either the brain concoction or the fried testicles. The mantra of mind over matter may work for some, but the classic motto changed nothing for Fieri when faced with a plate full of scrambled gray matter. If you haven't already, take a quick second to hit that subscribe button. Thanks. Haggis.
Will you serve haggis? No. I'm out.
Scotland is a country known for its rich green highlands, its famous Loch Ness Monster, and interestingly exotic cuisine. An example of the most uncanny dish Scotland has to offer would undoubtedly be haggis. The Scottish dish is a savory pudding containing offal, which is a mix of organ meats, onion, oatmeal, spices, and animal fat, all cooked within a casing made of animal stomach. The dish dates back to Scottish antiquity, and while the meal is iconic, it doesn't exactly wet the whistle upon hearing the ingredients. This was exactly the case for Guy Fieri during an episode of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives featuring Mac's Fish and Chip Shop.
Haggis! I'm scared.
Taking into consideration the mix of organ meats and the unusual presentation, it's by no means shocking that the platinum-haired restaurateur was visibly off-put by the Scottish dish. Despite Fieri's wincing and overall trepidation to try the classic Scottish dish, Fieri admitted the experience wasn't as bad as he originally thought it would be. With that said, it's safe to say the haggis experience was a one and done. Menudo.
Piping hot bowl of menudo.
Once again, we have a dish that uses the stomach of an animal as the main ingredient. Menudo, which also goes by the name mole de panza, meaning stomach sauce, is a Mexican dish with a tradition steeped in social interaction and family togetherness. The soup is appetizing enough, containing tomato broth, corn, lime, cilantro, and onions. However, the main ingredient of cow stomach is where the dish becomes less of a palate pleaser. Given that Guy Fieri has shown to be less than enthusiastic upon encountering organ meat-based dishes, it's not surprising that he would want nothing to do with the Mexican soup. On an episode of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives that saw Fieri enter a Mexican food gas station dive in Phoenix, the TV personality came face-to-face with the tripe-based dish. Fieri's reaction was exactly what you'd expect, with the famous foodie appearing sweaty and nervous after watching the beef stomach being dropped into the soup. Fieri even mentioned that he was scared of the tripe before giving himself a 3 count and diving right in.
Scared of the tripe.
The disgust on the face of the famous restaurateur made it clear that menudo is definitely not a dish he'll be sampling again anytime soon. Peanut butter burger.
Peanut butter? Huh.
Peanut butter is about as American as you can get. The classic food spread can be found in pantries and cupboards across the country and is enjoyed by millions. The image of a classic PB&J packed in a school lunchbox or a soft peanut butter cookie fresh out of the oven is not only nostalgic, but comforting. Another classic American food is undoubtedly the hamburger. The mouth-watering sandwich is as popular now as it ever was. Now, while the two classics are enjoyed by countless millions across the country, combining the two is a bold move. Far too bold for Guy Fieri. While the TV chef has a well-known fondness for good old-fashioned hamburgers, the peanut butter burger offered up at the XXX family restaurant was not a style of burger that was in any way appetizing to Fieri.
I don't want it.
The famous restaurateur encountered this unusual burger while visiting the Indiana restaurant and was simply unable to finish it. Named the Duane Purvis All-American, the burger is topped with cheese, lettuce, tomato, and a thick slathering of peanut butter. While the peanut butter burger was by no means the worst thing Fieri's put into his mouth, it was undoubtedly one of the most peculiar. Chitlins.
I want to eat some of them chitlins. I love pig feet.
Southern food is among the most beloved food across America. Hearty, flavorful, and comforting, Southern classics like mac and cheese, cornbread, and of course fried chicken are American staples that scream down-home comfort food. This is not to say that every Southern dish is as beloved as the aforementioned classics. Dishes like oxtail, for example, are not as appetizing to most as a crispy piece of fried chicken. Another Southern dish that doesn't have a mass appeal is chitlins. Chances are you've heard the name, but you might be wondering, what exactly are chitlins? This dish consists of a pig's small intestines and is served in a broth. The origins of chitlins go back to England, with the dish evolving once it made its way over to the southern US. The dish is certainly not for everybody, which is why when Guy Fieri came face to face with the southern food staple, he made it clear that he hated them.
I hate it!
The famous chef found himself in a Denver soul food restaurant with everything on their menu from catfish to chitlins. The TV personality was visibly shaken by the sight of the famous or infamous dish. However, Fieri did manage to keep the chitlins down after eating them, stating that the dish must be an acquired taste. While chitlins happen to be an extremely popular dish in the Denver restaurant and all over the South, it's safe to say that Fieri would be just fine never having to sample the dish again. Scrapple. There's no doubt that nutrition is important to a healthy, balanced life. When it comes to meat protein, most of the nutrients are found within the organs, which for most are not the most desired parts of the animal for eating. Scrapple is a dish that uses those nutrient-rich organ meats, and for those who enjoy offal as the main ingredient in their meals, the dish is both delightful and hearty. Much like a savory meat bread, the dish contains cornmeal and flour, as well as a medley of organ meats from pig liver to heart and even parts of the head. Scrapple is then sliced and pan-fried before serving. Guy Fieri happens to be a big fan of pork, so the celebrity chef is more than happy to sample new and exciting dishes containing the other white meat. However, not all pork dishes are created equal. On an episode of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, which featured Fieri at an establishment called The Dining Car, the famous chef was a bit confused after sinking his teeth into the pork loaf. Fieri was visibly sickened by the dish, even calling it funkadelic.
That's funkadelic, man.
Which seems rather kind compared to his clearly nauseated expression. Scrapple is an example of never letting anything go to waste, but it's likely that Fieri would be okay if this dish were tossed in the trash. Breakfast foods.
I can't do breakfast.
Who doesn't enjoy a delicious, tasty breakfast? One of the most popular meals in the country, it's far from unusual to find restaurants that serve all-day breakfast. Even famous fast food chains offer the morning meal all day long, which proves that breakfast is a meal beloved all over America. Guy Fieri actually has many famous breakfast recipes. From bananas Foster, French toast to breakfast burritos, the chef has come up with some delicious morning meal ideas. So it might come as a surprise to find out that the man himself is not a fan of breakfast. Only eating breakfast once or twice a month, the TV personality simply doesn't feel the need to eat in the morning. However, when the famous chef does feel the need to enjoy what many believe to be the most important meal of the day, his go-to meal is grits.
You never heard of grits?
A childhood favorite, Fieri often enjoyed eating grits as a youth, stating that his mother was from North Carolina and would serve grits along with other Southern breakfast fare. For most, breakfast simply can't be avoided. Whether snacking on a blueberry muffin before heading to work or consuming a large sausage and eggs meal, breakfast is a meal that starts your day right. However, in Guy's case, eating the morning meal now and then is more than enough. Check out more great videos. Just tap or click. And if you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. Thanks!